Welcome to a new episode of Two Nosy Meerkats. I'm not sure what episode number this is because Gabby just informed me that around like episode 16 or 17, I accidentally skipped a number. And so
we're creatives. We're not good with
creative.
Math
numbers are a construct, as is gender. It's
numbers are, there's only there's two genders, but there's a million numbers. So
exactly. That's weirdly deep.
There's only what if I was like there's a million genders, but there's only two numbers. 1 and 40. So this is episode 40, I guess. Oh God. As always, I'm Gabby Jordan Brown.
And I am Lucas Arnold. And we had a fantastic time with our guest today, Linda Smith, who is we didn't ask if she had anything to plug. But she is like
plugged, yeah,
she did. But yeah, so she is a fantastic comedian and teacher who both of us independently took her class. And when we realized it, we were like, oh, we have to get her on for an episode. And it was a blast. It was so much fun.
It was really fun talking to her. She's a formative person in both of our lives.
Hugely.
I miss her a lot. She's a cancer survivor, a really tough woman. So it's obviously I can't, see her in person because she's at risk. But I remember we used to like go to the diner all the time on 73rd Street in New York and just hang out and talk comedy. And she has been around the world and more with comedy and been in the business for, 30 or 40 years. And just, picking her brain was so much fun for Lucas and I. And
it was so good.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in her class, she talked about like what it was like as a comedian among other comedians at the dawn of Comedy Central and how that changed the game there. Cause they were like, I remember she was like, oh yeah, no one's going to come to the clubs anymore because they can all just see us on TV. And I was like, whoa, what a shit. I was like, how is that a thing? I thought the Comedy Central was always around. Like, this is how myopic I am.
We're aging ourselves here. Yeah. In 20 years, people are going to be like, I thought TikTok was always around. People used to be like, I can't believe there's TikTok happening now.
Or they're going to be like, or it's going to be past TikTok in the way that cable is now. Where people are like, no one uses that anymore. Like, that's just for like
my dad
aunts.
uses TikTok. Yeah, my aunt uses. I hope it becomes like Facebook, where all of like only the worst boomers use TikTok and just make really insane videos about how
that is
Hillary
an exciting...
Clinton's like a secret bird or something trying to eat your children.
That is the thing I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to Gen Z becoming boomers and seeing like the things they talk about. Like, back in my day, we hit the whoa. Like,
we whipped and nay-nayed. But
okay,
yes.
So yeah, we had Linda Smith on, and you guys are gonna love her. And anything else you want to say, Gabby?
Sorry, the ramen just hit me, and I had
just the sodium hit your bloodstream.
Yeah, the sodium hit my bloodstream. I don't want to be low energy to introduce Linda. Linda Smith, amazing person. You're gonna love her. Please enjoy our conversation.
Yeah,
we've been recording this is our 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, 23rd episode. Yeah,
Lucas, I noticed we got the numbers wrong. I think I was noticing on a couple of the episodes that the numbers on the podcast are all wrong. So I actually don't know what number episode this is.
What? No, how dare you?
How dare I?
Yes, how dare you? I keep amazing track of, okay, now I need to look, okay, 20, 21, 20, 19, 18. Oh, we
skipped 17, which is
fun.
We can say it was like a I was going to say superficial number, superstitious.
Yeah. It's okay.
Superficial number.
Yeah, 17 is the new 13. Yeah.
Is the new 13, right.
We'll skip it in all the elevators. Linda, so you're in Jersey.
I am in Jersey.
When did you go to Jersey?
I just got here a few days ago. I was here for a while during the beginning of the panic attack with the virus. I'm a cancer survivor, so I'm a high risker.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but if I'm being super careful, and I think that's the main thing. I wear a mask all the time. In fact, I have it right here if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And we
definitely put
do.
it on.
We're
I'm a
afraid to
masker.
get
I'm not
infected.
an anti-masker. No way.
Good.
And yeah, so and I'm laying low, and the only thing I did was to get here on a bus. But the buses are complying with all kinds of rules and regulations. You can't sit next to each other. They skip a row. You got to have a mask on. And I felt safe enough. And I said, all right, I'm going to do this. Because I come take care of my mom.
Yeah.
She's, 95 years old. Yeah. And I'm certainly not going to expose her to the virus.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful. And, it's good. And I'm going to start a class, hopefully, April.
On
Very
Zoom
good.
or back in
and in person.
Yeah.
Wow.
In person.
Wait, Linda, I
If,
want to.
if you're allowed. Huh?
I want to ask, like, do you know anyone in Jersey who has signed up or has gotten the vaccine just because they're a smoker? Because I know that was one of the leeways you could get into getting the vaccine is they say people who are at risk, and like people who smoke are, I guess, are at risk. So people are just saying that they
Wow.
smoke regularly to get the vaccine.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Because I'll
Okay.
start smoking again if that'll get me the shot. Seriously, I love smoking. I quit because of the cancer, but I would do it for the shot.
No, I
Oh, that
understand.
pesky reason to stop.
Yeah. Anything to start back up again.
That's right. That's right. I love smoking.
Anyone
Yeah.
who's ever been addicted to anything, like if you've really been addicted to it, you're always like, alcoholics are always like, I love drinking. Like I can't drink because
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
die, but there's nothing I love more in the world. If I could drink
Right.
every single day with no consequences, I would. So
Yes.
I hear
Yeah,
you on
it's-
that.
People say the same thing about bread. If you could just have as much bread as you want with no consequences, they would do it. It's
Well,
yeah.
Lucas,
I
you
would.
can
Bread-
have as much bread as you want with no consequences. Well, not entirely no consequences, but it won't. There's
Yeah.
no carcinogens in bread.
No, that's true.
Well,
That's-
no, but you say that, but carbohydrates turn to sugar, and sugar is what overloads in your system, and that can be carcinogenic over time. So what we're saying is bread is the cigarettes of food.
I think they put frogs in cigarettes, though. I think they put like parts from frogs in
No, you're thinking of
cigarettes.
Jurassic Park. It's not all frogs.
No, it's not.
I am always wrong, so I don't know. I could be spewing stuff out of my ass. I have no idea.
No, those are frogs that come out of your ass. That is frogs, actually.
Oh, that's what that is?
I know because I checked
Okay. You were looking at my ass earlier?
in your toilet for residue.
Okay. Cool. Linda, oh my God. So you're starting a class in person. Have people been like trying to get you to do comedy classes on Zoom? Like, or have
You know what?
done
No,
pilots?
no. What I did was I haven't done a class in a while because I had a class, everybody paid up, and I said, look, we're not going to do Zoom. It's a waste. Comedy on Zoom doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work. Stand up, it needs the energy of a live audience.
Mhm.
It needs the club. It needs the whole atmosphere to make it work. Zoom is just dead air. Not this. This is good. But stand up.
You're just
on
saying
Zoom.
that.
Yeah. No, you know what? Zoom is really good for this. It really is, and it's nice. You can have a good conversation, whatever. And it's nice to see somebody. Comedy doesn't work. It doesn't. It just, it needs that live audience. It needs that energy. And it's a waste to do classes. Look, I was collecting unemployment. So the money thing was not an issue. It wasn't a lot, but I could pay the rent. So I said, screw it. Look, guys, you know what? You paid. We're going to do it when we can meet in person. You guys paid for an in-person class. You didn't pay for a Zoom class. So that's what you're
Yeah.
going to get. And they all waited. Everyone was really grateful and happy and, said, well, that's wonderful. That's what we want. So they're waiting. And we're going to do it April 13 or 15. I don't know, something like that. Hopefully we're not going to get stopped,
Yeah. Well, I know that like indoor dining is just beginning to open
starting
up
up.
again, and that
Right.
people are just starting to get more. So like we're on our way forward, at least
Right.
forward.
Yes.
But it is always something I always admired was just your kindness. Because I remember in the class that I took with you is that there were people that came into the class who had purchased a class like maybe like a year before, but they were like, no, this is the time when I'm available. And you were like, come on in. And then,
Right.
and then people that dipped, they were like, yeah, they can come back. And I was just like,
Sure.
that's very, I don't know if I would be as kind if I was in your position. I don't know if I would be as accepting for someone who just wants to stroll back into class.
I know.
I'll be like, no,
Well,
you signed up for this time period. You snooze, you lose. I would.
yeah, right. Well, it's I don't know. I gave it a lot of thought, and I think especially for the industry, for arts and everything, you got to be a little more lenient with people. And I encourage, I want people to do comedy. I want people to get trained on how to do it and to be professional. Don't treat it like, oh, it's comedy, screw it. No, it's a business, and you got to treat it as such.
Yeah.
That means being professional. And the more professional you are, the better treated you will be.
That's one of the things I always admired that you taught us in our classes. Like, I remember at one point you said, like, don't go up drunk. Like, do not go up on stage drunk. And I always remember that because I would see people go up drunk and they would not remember their words. And then ever since I went back on, like, I was going back on the open mic circuit, I always would have a drink after my set.
Exactly.
Not before.
And if so glad you took that as a takeaway for you, because it's such a misnomer. It's like, oh, I'm nervous, let me have a drink and go up. No, now you're going to be altered. Like you said, you can't even understand what they're saying. You guys can't remember your words. You can't remember your punchlines. Without your punchlines, you're toast. What good are you? You're a comic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the syntax too, like you totally
exactly all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Linda, I need to ask that. Have you ever gone up drunk?
No.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. No. I'm a sober comic.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I had issues.
I see.
But I was an active drinker when I started comedy, but I still knew that was a slippery slope. I said, I'm not even going to try. I don't even want to know if I can do it. That's what I decided. I said, all right, I'll drink after work. I can drink.
Oh, that's very wise.
As soon as I got off stage, I drank because I said, I don't want to know if I can perform drunk.
Yeah.
Because if I can, then I will do that. I said, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And then I got sober.
I was going to ask you, do you still remember the first time you went up on stage?
Oh.
Yes, I do. The Ding Ho Comedy Club in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It was an open mic. It was hosted by the first one that was hosted by Jimmy Tingle. You know that name, Jimmy Tingle? I think he's still around. He's a political guy now.
Really?
Yeah. And
Mayor Tingle?
Mayor Tingle.
No. Yeah, Governor Tingle.
Running against Andrew Yang, Mayor Jimmy Tingle. I know.
Actually, I think he was like a commentator on CNN at one point or something. But his comedy was sort of political. It got to that. In the beginning, he was not. He was very funny. A real Boston-y local guy,
Gotcha.
So that was my first time on stage. I remember distinctly, I'll never forget it. My right leg shook the entire time.
Wow.
Yep. And let me tell you something. I was really rehearsed. I rehearsed to do I had my sights. I knew when I was going to go. And I rehearsed in my bedroom in front of a mirror. I knew it. I knew my set inside and out. Good thing, because I was so nervous. My leg was shaking. So I was on autopilot. And I was getting laughs. I was killing. I have to be honest. I killed my first time on stage, which made me go back up on second time when I tanked. So it was I had, one extreme to the other. However, the second time was awful. And I don't know why, no reason, but I said, well, that's not going to be my last time on stage, So it made me continue. And I went on ever since. Yeah.
That sounds so similar. I saw the Gary Shandling documentary on HBO, and he had the same experience. The first time he went up, smashed it, absolutely killed it, and then he bombed for ages. And he was chasing that dragon of like trying to like get as good as he was the first time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something.
Well, it's also like, I feel like you go up, I don't know if this was just my experience, but I feel like the first time I went up, I expected no laughter. And when you expect no laughter, any laughter feels like you're fucking killing it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Wait,
right.
Gabby, I want to ask, like, did you do stand-up before doing a class? Because the class and the show that the class culminated with was my first time ever on stage.
No, I met Linda actually. My mom knew I wanted to do stand-up comedy. Linda, I don't know if you remember this, but she got me like a birthday present that was
yes.
It was like a private lesson with Linda to like workshop some jokes.
Oh my God.
And I went
That's how we used to go to the diner.
Yeah.
Yes. The diner have cheeseburger.
We went to the diner, we got cheeseburgers, and it was like near your house. And I was
Yes,
like, hey,
a 3-star.
my mom got me this, like, I don't know if I'm funny at all, but I'm just going to run some jokes by you and you let me know if you like them or not. And you were laughing. And I was like, oh my God, like it was the first time I thought I could actually do it. I don't know if you
Oh my God.
It was the first time I thought I ever could like catch the passion for comedy, you know, because I was fresh out of high school and like feeling all weird about myself and my self-confidence. And you were the first person to like really encourage me and be like,
oh, good.
You could do this.
My
And
God.
then
funny. You're still funny.
Oh, thank you. I started like getting to know you, and then I took your class and met all these people, and now I'm still buddies with Reggie Wade, who I took the class with.
Oh, really? I love Reggie.
We're like writing a pilot together. He's such a good dude.
Yeah. Oh, you are? Oh, that's great. Yeah. He's a good guy, and he works hard. He's a hard worker.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's totally industrious. But yeah, it's like I made all these connections through your class, and Lucas and I met at an open mic, and we didn't even know we'd both taken your class. So your reach is far and wide.
That.
Oh yeah, you got a web. Great. You got a strong web.
That's
but yeah,
great.
I also keep in touch with a little bit with Zach Emery, who is in my class.
Oh, Zach, yeah.
And I saw him a couple times at Caroline's after our class, and he broke me apart. But the thing is, like, he was so dark, he was very polarizing.
Yes,
like, he was very. Like, I don't know if you know Zach, Gabby, but he's very much.
I don't know.
He's kind of in the vein of Anthony Jeselnik, and like very spaced apart one-liners, very measured delivery, very dark. Yes. And he definitely has like a specific taste that I love, but it took like the right audience. But when he had the right audience, it was amazing. He would wait for like a minute, and it would just be consistent laughter while he was just waiting. It was the biggest power move. I was like, ooh.
It's really hard to do that. I applaud him for his patience, you know, and his dedication to him and his.
Yeah,
that's what he does, and he's doing it. Damn it, you know, and that's the attitude you have to have, really.
Absolutely.
And I think that's great. I think it's great. And you know what? The audience will come to you eventually.
Yeah.
You know, if you just keep hammering it and you have that conviction and that honesty, and of course it's funny, and it is funny when you break it down. It's funny stuff, but it's super edgy.
Yeah.
There's one thing, Linda, I wanted to ask, this might sound a little bit airy-fairy, but was there a shift where you found like, okay, where you knew how to do stand-up, but then you knew how to do stand-up like you? Did you find a point where you go, oh, now I found my style? Was there ever a point like that?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And you know what? It happened fairly quickly for me. And that's because I was getting on stage constantly. I did not let up. I should turn that off. Everyone's texting me. They never text me now when I'm with you guys.
Tell us who's texting you. We want
my family. It's my family. They're insane.
They're asking you to say hi to us.
Yeah, right. No, they're all over me about the shot. I'm trying to get the shot. You know, I'm getting the runaround with the shot because I'm not old enough. Thank you.
It's flattering.
I said to the Walgreens guy, he goes, "You're not old enough." I said, "I'm going to put that on my resume."
They're IDing you at the liquor store. Oh, you're sober.
That's an old cancer survivor, apparently. Anyway,
that's the new compliment. You just got the vaccine. What? You don't look old enough to get the vaccine.
Right, you don't look old enough. Oh, take that to the bar.
You don't look eligible.
That's right. You don't look eligible. Oh, this is good. Very good. What was I saying? Brilliant. And then I got the text.
Oh, so you went up constantly, and so that was how you were able to find out your stuff.
Yes, I was on stage constantly. And if I wasn't on stage, I was doing something related to comedy. I mean, somebody up in Boston was a great place to start because these guys were dedicated. They were good. And one of the guys said to me once, "You got to eat, shit, drink, and fuck comedy."
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about
That's
it,
awesome.
that is awesome. It's like
That's a tattoo.
It's a constant. That's a constant. That's a constant. You are constantly thinking comedy. Where's my next show? When can I get on stage? And when I'm not on stage, I'm writing. And you know what? That helps you find your voice much quicker.
Yeah.
Because it's different. You know, I used to always say this to my students, and I probably said it to you, when you're on stage, you're who you are times 10. Meaning it's like an amped up you, it's a bigger you. You can't be like that all the time or people would hate you, but you're this stage thing that it's mostly who you are.
Right.
Definitely.
Do you think you experimented with different styles when you were writing, or do you think you just literally wrote so much that it morphed into one style?
Well, one style. I was who I was. I amped it up, and I was set up, punch.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out kind of the hard way by being on stage. I was like, shit, man, I'm a little chatty. And I realized, no, you can't do that. I mean, if you're going to be chatty, you got to be really funny while you're being chatty, or not. Have a small setup, get to your punchline, get your laugh, and go on. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I'm really chatty on stage too. I remember you told me that. You were like, shut up. And now I look back at all my tapes. I'm like, I don't have a good fucking tape because I'm just talking to the audience the whole time.
I know, it's so tempting. And that's all I used to do it a lot. And I said, man, you got to stop that, Linda. It's not good.
Oh,
you don't want to hear
Gabby,
it.
do you remember because I'm so curious about what you were like when you started out. Do you remember any examples of what you were like how you were chatty with the audience or things you said?
I was just wordy. I still kind of am when I like.
I'm still wordy as well, definitely.
When I feel I felt like I was always tempted to say everything that brought me to the punchline of the joke instead of like just full exposition. And it really is like Linda says, it's got to be like,
need all that. You don't need all that. When you're writing, when you're writing a joke, I think the best way to do it really is to actually write it, handwrite it, or work on the computer, whatever you want to do. But write it out and then go back 100 times and edit and take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. No, that was my method. That still is my method, where I have an idea and I'll just is Linda frozen? Oh, there you are.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now you're back.
You're unstable. It just said you were unstable, Gabby.
I'm unstable. Well, the Zoom didn't have to tell me that.
But I said, you don't have to tell me that.
That's actually a good idea for like a sketch or something where like you're on Zoom and it says unstable and you just say my connection. No, your mental health.
Right. Exactly.
No, go to therapy. You don't.
Yeah. You're unstable.
Yeah. But I was saying like my method basically, especially if it's a story, is I'll try to just write everything out, just stream of consciousness, get all the words out of you, then do it on stage, see what fits work, what doesn't, trim the fat, and then expand, contract until you got it fairly tight where you feel comfortable using it on a show.
That sounds perfect. That sounds great. That's exactly the way you should do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, or trim the fat before you get on stage and then trim even more. Because once you put it on its feet and you're on the stage, a lot of things can change, and a bit can change totally. You have to look at your audience.
I don't believe that a bit is ever necessarily done, but there is a point where you go, it's ready for the stage. So I don't think there's a difference between like ready and I don't think a perfect bit ever, because the thing is like,
it's never done. You're right.
Oh no,
never done. No.
But another thing that I always hear is like, I listen to like a lot of other comedy podcasts, and a phenomenon like that a bunch of other comedians talk about is that they've just filmed the special and then 2 weeks later they think of a better tag for that one bit. Right. And it's always at the point where they're not thinking about it, just something bubbles up to the surface and they're like, oh, why didn't I have this thought 2 weeks ago when I shot this?
Exactly. Which is why, but so what? Then you add it, now it becomes a regular. And that's the thing about punchlines and bits. You just keep hitting them. Just keep hitting it as much as you can. Why not? And that's another reason to always have some sort of recording device on you. You know, if you're walking the streets of New York, and sometimes it just hits you out of nowhere. Just say it. Just say it in there. And that way you have it. If you don't say it, then you go back later and you go, what the fuck was that? You're not going to come up with it.
Absolutely. I also think it's a reason why comedians should take improv classes, so that you just train your brain to get in a point where you can come up with stuff on the spot, or just answer more readily. It's just to yes and yourself. I
think everyone should take an improv class. Everyone should always be a little more insufferable than they were before.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But it's two completely different things. Stand up and improv. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying, that there is a benefit that you can apply to stand up that you get from improv.
Absolutely. It's just another muscle that sort of helps other muscles in your comedy mind that just work more fluidly, I think. Definitely.
Yeah. I think so.
So Linda, when you started going up early on, like how many years would you say it took you between when you were just like going up every night, grinding it out, to when you started to like really see some like fruits of your labor, like coming to
that's a good question. And you know what?
That is a good question.
I started a long time ago. Okay. So here's what happened to me. I was up in Boston, and there were not, and I noticed this because I was, preparing, and I was going to shows and I was watching, and I thought, God, there's no women. There was one woman that was getting all the work, and she was good. Unfortunately, she passed away, unfortunately. She was out in LA. The dreaded breast cancer. Wah, wah. Ugh. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I know. Thank God it didn't kill me.
I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I am too. Anyway, she was really funny, very nice. But she was the only one. So what was the question? What was the question?
When you started seeing
I know. Yes. So my first time on stage, like I said, I destroyed. I killed it. Second time, not so much. But from that first time, I had one of the big comics come up to me and go, look, man, you should be working. Are you sure you weren't working in New York? Because then they didn't believe me that it was my first time on stage. And I said, no, it was my first time on stage. I swear to God, yeah. I said, no, I've got, 6 minutes tops. So I ended up getting a guest spot on a Friday night at Played Against Sam's. And it was in Brookline, Massachusetts. And it was a real club. It was in a basement. That's a real club. Mm-hmm. And you know who was booking that? Barry Katz. Do you know that name?
I think so.
Barry Katz.
Not really.
Oh, okay. Well, he ended up not too long ago, I guess, but that show's gone. Last Comic Standing. He was the executive producer of that.
I see.
But he had. Yes. Okay. But he did take the Boston Comedy Club and bring it to New York, and he opened it in the Village, which is really weird. People were confused. Boston Comedy Club in the Village. This is weird. But anyway, so I got a Friday night there, which was huge. That was a weekend. The place was packed, and I killed it again. I never went in saying I'm going to kill it. I'm going to destroy the room. I went in saying I'm going to do a good job. I'm a comic. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's what I do. And I went in prepared. I treated it like a business. I treated it like a profession, and then I was a professional. And I showed up on time. I stayed the night. I didn't get drunk. I didn't fuck with anybody. I didn't do anything like that. I was very, very professional. And that's what I try and teach people who come through my classroom, is that you should do that, and you will reap rewards. You got to be funny. Yes, you have to be funny. But, if you are funny, keep writing. Don't be a dick, and be professional. Don't be a dick is a very professional.
Right. There was something.
It is true.
It is. Right? Yes.
There's something else that I always noticed, and it always really impressed me, was that there were some times in our class, I won't say who, but there were times where someone would go up to perform.
Sorry.
What?
She's eating.
What are noodles or what?
Yeah, it's noodles. That's what I think. It's either spaghetti or
it's ramen.
It's ramen. Yeah.
I see what
They
you
say about comedy, don't be a dick, show up on time, eat your ramen.
Yeah. One of the 5 food groups.
Who
Yeah.
said that? Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead,
No, but
Lucas.
yeah, so but I remember there were times where you always had some really good constructive criticism to say, something positive that someone was doing well in their material and their delivery and the way they said it. There was
I'm
something
glad.
always there in times where I didn't see something there. And so I wanted to ask, like, was there ever a time where you really couldn't think of something constructive to say? And if not, how do you always have something really, at least something positive or something to work on, something?
Right. You got to look hard sometimes. Sometimes there is someone that gets up there and it's like, holy shit. And I'm watching thinking, what am I going to say here? And you look real deep and you try and find something really positive because, and I found this out through my many years in this business, that negative words reap negative consequences. You don't get anything good. You don't get good work out of someone that you're belittling. It just doesn't make sense. So you have to find, there's always something. There's always one thing that you can find that's positive and good, that this person, and not necessarily build on it. That might not be what it is. I mean, it might be something at times when I see someone, I go, you're doing this and that's pretty good, but it's not right for our purposes here in comedy, but it's good,
Right.
But I always try and find something, and I do try and give a very good reason for why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like tell someone, especially too wordy. That's my biggie, and it's legit, because an audience, they paid money to laugh. They didn't pay money to come hear you, bullshit around and say shit that, no, they're waiting for punchlines, and it costs too much money to wait long for a punchline. They want it. They want it now.
Yeah, I liked what you said about not belittling people, because I feel like I went to enough acting schools where the instructors were always kind of like, but you have to, break a student down in order to lift them up. And in my experience, no, you don't.
Right. Actually, you don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't believe that at all. I don't. Yeah. I think it's counterproductive.
Yeah,
I think it's a hazing ritual where you're like, I went through this, so you have to go through it. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a little bit of spanking the student, which you don't want unless they like it.
You don't get anything good out of that. You got to be. It's all positive, because look, the other reason I try very hard to do that is I know that if you're going to stay in this business, you're going to get plenty of negative feedback. You're going to get plenty of people being mean, saying shitty things to you, not giving you your due, not moving you along when they should. That happens. It sucks. I think, unfortunately, a lot of shows and opportunities are run by comics who are either done, they've aged out, they're tired, I don't know, whatever the reason is. And I don't think they like passing the torch, which I do. I'm very happy to pass the torch. I want to do that. I'm thrilled, like my student, Robin Shaw. Robin was my student years ago, one of my first students, and she's killing it. Mm-hmm. She's doing great.
She is doing great. Yeah.
She is. And I'm proud of her, and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So that's what I would see.
I was going to ask, do you think that people now who are coming up in comedy experience more shit than people coming up in comedy when you were, or is it better, or is it just kind of different? And if it's just different, how do you feel? It
depends on what kind of shit you're talking about. I think, unfortunately, and I hate doing this because people get so weird about it, but being a woman in this business is very difficult. So is it then, and it is today. And I don't care what anybody says. It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women should not be on stage making jokes. That's what people think.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, and I've always felt this way, and I still feel this way. In fact, I'm going to go back on stage after the pandemic. I decided, fuck it.
Yes!
But, that's right. But I always felt this way, that as soon as the announcement, at Caroline's, they always announced off stage when you worked on a weekend. And as soon as they heard a woman's name, the audience went,
Oh my God.
They'll right away think not funny, not funny. And I've talked to people after shows who came clean with me, and they would come up to me and they would think this is a compliment, and God bless them. I wouldn't say otherwise. I'd say, thank you very much. They come in and go, we heard it was a woman. We go, shit, she's not going to be funny, but you were. It's like, oh, thanks. And then I'm like, yeah, thank you very much. And I think, well, that's so sad.
Yeah. Well, you
so
got to pity them because they're going to be so limited.
We are prejudged before we even get on that stage. So we have to be even funnier. Because a guy is assumed to be funny before he gets up there.
Yeah. I also think there's something where, like, even if people don't explicitly say that, and there are plenty of people who do, like, I've gotten that before, like, you're funny for a girl, but
right. You're funny for a girl.
Yeah.
Gabby, I don't say this very often. You're pretty funny for a girl.
Thanks, Lucas. So are you. You're funny for a girl.
Yes, he is.
I think there is some element of, like, I think Miranda July, this writer, said it, where it's like there's almost this kind of ickiness that people have to get over in the audience of like, oh no, it's even if they're not thinking this woman is not funny, they're thinking like maybe they'll fail, and if they fail, it's going to be like worse for me to watch because it's a woman trying.
Because it's a woman trying. Yeah, that's interesting. But it's funny because the other thing sometimes I feel that women in the audience. Not only, all right, that's one aspect, but they're thinking, my boyfriend's gonna like you. Seriously, like you're on stage, you got the spotlight on you, you're being funny, all the things that people like. And she's sitting there with her boyfriend and she's looking at him and looking at you and like, fuck, he likes her. I'm serious. That's how women are.
No, I know. Wow. I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but even though I say in my set that I'm mostly gay, there was a
oh, that's right,
mostly. There's a woman comic who was like watching with her boyfriend. It was like another comic, and after the show,
I think I know this.
I was talking to her boyfriend, and this woman gets all up in my face, like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Is that because I was on stage just now? Is that because he was looking at me and I was on stage? What am I, some kind of sex object in my bulky sweater? Like I just had a mic."
Did you not listen to me just talking about eating puss? Like what?
Yeah, exactly. What are you, retarded? Sorry. It's ridiculous. And you know what? And there was a reason why, like I remember seeing women comics, some of them going on stage in a dress. And I never did. I did it once. It was for a TV show. And I'll never do that again. I didn't like it. I was uncomfortable. I'm just not that person. But I always felt that going on stage in a dress was not a good move. And, and I don't know why I felt that way. I just did. So I never did it. Now I don't know what the point of that was.
I've been on stage in a dress before as well. There are some people who pull it off so well because it's part of their persona. Part
of their personality. That's true. Mine was not. I'm too raw and tough and, in your face and fuck you,
Yeah.
That in a dress. But maybe you can, because maybe the juxtaposition, whatever. But no. But, being on stage in a dress, unfortunately, even further pisses other women off in the audience.
Yeah.
Especially if you look good, they're like, oh, fuck you.
Wow.
But then sometimes I've had the reverse thing happen where there's a girl in the audience who's laughing harder than anyone else. And it's because, it's nice to see another girl up there because you see 13 guys in a row go up.
Right. Yes, there are some of those. That's true.
So the opposite thing, I think, can happen as well.
Of just like someone laughing too much to the point where you're like, okay, just let me talk.
Yeah, it's not that funny.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But do you think there's also like a challenge with, I feel like a lot of comedians now, like we have to promote ourselves so differently because of social media. I feel like back in the day, you could kind of just be a comic. Like you could go and grind it out in clubs and you could just like be a comic. And now there's so many people who, put so much energy into their Twitter that it's like, I almost wonder if they're even doing any comedy on the side,
They might not be. No, you're absolutely right. In fact, I think people nowadays with social media and whatnot can go further on less, on less talent, really. I hate to say that, but it's a fact because, I think bookers will book people with huge social media followings. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're funny.
Mm-hmm.
No,
The perfect example, do you remember that I think it was Dat Fan tragedy?
Oh, yeah.
And he's headlining and he can't even do the time because he's like so brand new. They book him because he won some fucking contest. And
wasn't it Last Comic Standing, or am I thinking of
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Last Comic
it was,
Standing. Yep.
So it was the first season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had 10 minutes of stuff. That's it. They're booking him as a headliner. Headliners have to do an hour. And they're paying him a shitload of money. And they're like, what? 10 minutes?
Yeah. Well, it is an interesting thing. Like I was talking with other TikTokers because I've done a lot of stuff on TikTok in the past year. And I was talking with other TikTokers who are not necessarily comedians. And they said, and I was talking about how if I was offered a special of some sort because of the attention I've gotten on TikTok, would I say yes? And I said, absolutely not. I'm not ready for that. And at some point, I think I will be, but no time now. And I'm also in no rush. I was very comfortable in that. And this dude, he was like, oh, you absolutely should do it. Like I've been offered, like to write pilots and stuff, and it's all a learning experience, just take a stab at it. And I was like, I wouldn't do that with a special though. It was very different mindset though.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, because that's gonna follow you. That's forever.
Exactly. Yeah. I was actually gonna ask you about that, Linda. Do you feel like you ever, once you kind of got past grinding, you were killing it, do you ever feel like you accidentally landed upon an opportunity that in retrospect you realize you weren't ready for at the time?
No.
Awesome. Next question. You were
done.
I do actually.
No, I'm trying, I'll tell you honestly, and because in Boston at that time, I was the only second woman, and they needed to show that they're booking women because they were getting shit for it. And I think I've told my students this. The only thing I did say yes to was a 30-minute gig when I had 20 or 15 even. And they said, can you do it? I said, yes. Mm-hmm. I said yes to everything as far as stage performance, because I figured, okay, I've got a week to write some material. And I did it. I got up every morning and I just pounded it. And the thing is, that's how I learned that you can take existing bits that are 2 minutes, 3, and make them 6, 12. You just keep hitting the same bit. Just keep hitting it, like I was saying, with taglines and runners and all kinds of stuff. So you expand on what you already have. And that's how I learned to do that, because I was under the gun. I had a gig coming up that I said I could do 30 minutes when I had, 15.
Yeah.
That's the only way to grow and the only way to get ahead.
Especially in terms of growth. There's something I wanted to ask you, because like the industry is so different now from what it used to be, whereas before you didn't have to be as much of a business person, and there were agents and there were other TV executives. There are lots of other people that they made barriers you had to cross, but there was a level you could go. What I'm curious about is if you think that the ladder, I think back then the ladder was longer but difficult, whereas now it's much easier, but the highest you can go is shorter. Does that make sense? I feel like, because I think with social media, there's so many different ways to get an audience, but that as far as that can go.
Are you saying like getting an audience means less? Because I kind of agree with
that. I see what he said. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it very well, but yeah.
Nice. Now I get it. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. It means less now. Sure. Mm-hmm. Because getting it through means of, like you said, the social media, which is like, who's the perfect example? Once again, now another one is the Dane Cook.
Yeah,
right. Dane Cook become like this big, huge success because he was on, but that was like MySpace or something. He must be old.
Yeah.
Dane Cook is 70 years old now.
Yeah.
Dane Cook is eligible for the vaccine.
Yeah. And he looks it.
Yes, and he looks it. Yes, he does.
I remember when I was like 13, my first crush, who was a girl, was really into Dane Cook. So I had to sit with her and watch a Dane Cook special and pretend to laugh.
What was your review?
It was
Yeah,
terrible.
what'd you think? Terrible, right?
Terrible. It was torture. I mean, whatever. He's successful. Good for him. But it was
Because he's good looking, not my type.
yeah.
But I think that helped him.
What is your
Right.
type, Linda?
Black. I love the black guys.
Yes. Lucas, you hear that?
I heard. Oh god. Okay, wait. So something that's also a very this is a weird one. There's a very contentious topic about like whether comedians should date other comedians. Do you think that that's like a sort of a fallacy, that ultimately you should just be a kind person and date whoever you want to date? Or do you think it's like
Hey, look, I mean, if you're a working comic or even an aspiring comic, whatever, if you're in the business, you're surrounded by comics, or you should be, because then, or else you're not doing it right. I was with comics all the time, and unfortunately the men are, they're comics. So it was a lot of one-nighters or whatever, but who cares? You do what you got to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with dating a comic or having a relationship with one. And the good thing about dating another comic is they get it. They get the business. They understand Saturday night is a big money night. No, honey, we can't go out to dinner. I mean, I can remember dating a civilian and he was like, hey, let's go out Saturday night. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I pays my rent. I've got 6 shows tonight. I'm running all over the city. I got to, that's the rent money. Saturday night was rent night.
Absolutely.
Right. Not just one, several Saturday nights. So, and he wasn't happy because he wanted to go out on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So
another thing, I'm sure you've experienced this, but like I have found like, because like, especially in the past year, I've like met lots of other comedians and gotten closer to the point where I would say I'm really close with them now, more so than I am with other people in terms of how often I talk to them. You do kind of get ruined for other people. Because hanging out with comics just
yes, you do.
It's so much better.
Yes, it's true. We are so much better.
Yeah. That's why you say civilian. I was like, I get it. It's
civilian.
It's a different breed.
Civilian. Oh,
that's what I call them. I know. And that's what they are. They're civilians.
Yeah.
They're not the same as us. We're a very special group. So somebody will think we're crazy or insecure or whatever they want to say. I don't believe it. I think we're just special people, and we're very smart people, and we think differently. But I think we're a very strong lot.
Yeah. I think people who want to do comedy and any sort process the world through humor a little bit, in the sense of like, I don't even know if in my brain I intend to process things the way I do. Like, I don't know if there's a way to try to write jokes. You just have to have them.
There isn't. It's like a sixth sense or something. Yeah. It's like comedy is not, you don't choose comedy, it chooses you. Yeah. That's what I always say. And I believe that.
That's very beautiful.
It's a twisted way to look at the world.
Pillow.
Yeah. It's a twisted way to look at the world. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think is the most common thing you see in like young people who are just starting or want to try it right now, and you're like, I wish they'd do that differently, or like I wish they wouldn't do that thing that they're doing right now?
Right. Let me think. Oh boy. I guess I think the biggest thing, but people going fast. That's one thing that new people do all the time. I get it, because you're nervous and you want to get to that punchline really fast. But it's a big mistake, because you want to be on stage, you want to be taking it in, you want to be soaking it up, but you're nervous. So I get it. But that's one thing. And also the other thing about newbies is I think they think too much about what, like they always have not a mentor. They always have a favorite comic who's a headliner, and they're always thinking about that person. They probably don't even know them, and they don't want to. Believe me. Yeah. But, and I think they try to emulate that person, and you don't want to do that either. You don't want, go ahead.
Oh no, please finish your thought. I'll hold
No, I
on.
was going to say, you don't want other comics to see another comic in you,
Yeah.
in a bad way.
Yeah. Well, there's something I wanted to ask is that if someone is like, I think it's very natural for a comedian to have like their favorite comedian or someone that's like a strong influence on them.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a little bit natural to at least slightly emulate them. Would you say that is like 100% negative, or is that just, it's kind of okay at the beginning, but eventually you find your own thing? Or is it so bad to emulate them at least a little?
At least a little is fine, and it's unavoidable because, if you're going to be a comic, I know what you're doing. It's what I did. You're watching comedy constantly. You can't help but absorb at least one person that you're really focused on, that you really like. You can't help it. And I would never accuse anyone of stealing in that sense, because you're not. You just can't help it. It's coming out of you because you've been taking it in,
Right.
But eventually, if you're getting on stage like you should be, that's going to go away. It's just going to go away on its own, because the you is going to just come out and force it to go.
It's like a Pokemon. You evolve.
Yeah, exactly. You evolve. Like
I totally hear you though on the going fast thing. I feel like that was one thing I also did in your class. Like I'd speed through the material and then I'd be like, oh my God, here I'd written 5 minutes and I've got 2 full minutes left and I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Now when I actually have been doing some Zoom shows, and I know you were saying at the beginning they don't work, and I agree, but I do think they're a good filler for the time being.
For the time being, it's fine, because you got to do
exercise.
Something. Yeah,
just to exercise.
Yeah, and listen, the other thing is, just real quick, don't judge yourself on a Zoom show.
No.
You're doing it for a reason. You're just doing it to flex a muscle. That's it. You don't want laughs. You're not going to get laughs. It doesn't matter the laughs.
I look for smiles. I look for smiles.
Okay, yeah, take a smile.
Not necessarily laughs.
I look for a flickering in the microphone icon where someone goes, "Oh, I want them to know I'm laughing," but it doesn't come through in time.
Yeah.
I look for they turn their screen from off to on for a second and then turn it back off because they're naked or something. But yeah, I feel like I always try and write it where it's like if I have a 6-minute set or something, I'll try and, in my notes app or whatever, put as like a bunch of different jokes that I think will fill 6 minutes, and then only get like a third of the way through before I get the light, because that meant I wasn't rushing,
Right. Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good.
I think like we all think we're going fast because I think we're all, it's a human impulse to be bored by what we already are thinking.
Yeah. What we already know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's also a fear that you don't want to be cut off and like receive the light or actually get cut off before your punchline. So it's anxiety about getting everything you want in.
That's right.
I remember being at Caroline's, Linda, and watching you have to cut someone off because they went like 5 minutes over their light.
Oh my God, I remember that. I remember those, and I'll be on the light like this.
Yeah.
You know what? And usually when that happens, when someone does that, they're not killing. So that's the other problem. You're messing up the show. If you're not killing, get off.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. Yeah, I remember I watched you marched up to the stage with your little jaunty walk, and you were like, "Well, that's it. What a great show, everyone!" I was like, that was funnier than that comedian's whole set.
Yeah.
Just watching you do that.
Oh God.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this is very masochistic, but I'm so curious. What were your thoughts of each of us at the end of our class time with you?
Lucas, speak for yourself. I don't want to know. No, I'm kidding.
I love both of you. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, but you can take off your headphones. I want to hear what she has to say.
No, I thought you both were great. Honestly, I swear. Don't you think?
I was so pleased by the end. By the time,
I thought you. Yeah, you were
so happy.
You were one of the last ones, right? You're recent before the pandemic.
Yeah. I was the summer of 2019. That was
okay.
August 4th. I remember that was.
Oh wow! Right. Yeah, it was very good. That was a good class. And you were a while ago.
I was a while ago. I was in college, and I kind of stopped doing. I started working, and I kind of stopped doing as much comedy after those classes. I feel like I just didn't have a lot of confidence like in college, and I really started up again. It must have been 2 years ago at this point, like in 2019. And
oh, good.
It was after a breakup, and I was like, I'm gonna start doing this now, because what do I have left to lose? I work at a stupid office job. I don't have a girlfriend anymore. I'm gonna like.
And this is why, listeners and viewers, you should break up with your significant other.
That's right.
Get
Well,
you back into comedy.
Well, now I have another one, so, and I'm still doing it. So it's like,
well, look, I'm gonna be booking Monday nights again. We're gonna start it. I'm not sure. Memorial Day weekend, the club's opening up. So the first available Monday, I am booking. So
Wow.
you guys, if you want to come, you let me know.
Hell yeah.
Perform.
Oh, wow.
You can come and watch, of course, but you want to
Oh,
perform?
I'm in.
Oh, I miss it
I would
so
love to.
much. I miss
You
it.
would?
I would love to.
I just want to be in a disgusting basement right now. Not say Caroline's is disgusting, but in general, I want, you know what I've missed? I've missed germs. There's not enough germs in my life.
Yes.
Right now.
I know, we're too clean. I know, look, and you know what? I was going to wear my mask to do this, and then I said, oh, I think we can get away with it. But I had this.
Oh, is that hand sanitizer?
Damn sanitizer.
Yes,
It's
for you
too,
guys.
it's
I hate
too
hand
clean.
sanitizer.
I
Yeah,
hate it.
I hate
It's
it. I
good.
hate you get the cuts
It's
on
good.
your hand.
No,
Yeah,
it dries. No, it dries out your hand and
Dries them
actually makes
out,
it more
yeah.
vulnerable. It's worse actually.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it cracks them and shit.
No.
Oh,
I know.
it's disgusting. Lucas, do you have any other questions for Linda before we go into listener submissions?
I wanted to.
What? Okay.
Oh yeah, we have.
This is a surprise for you. We didn't tell you anything about
Yeah.
the format of this on purpose.
Okay.
Is there any was there any surprising value you found when you started teaching? Was there anything that surprised you that made your your own comedy better? Do you think? I might be reaching for nothing, but I'm curious if there was anything that surprised.
I'm thinking that affected me and my performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think
well, it's
teaching made me just a better person. I mean, in the sense that I'm not quick to judge.
yeah. Because I the reason why is because as an actor, I have friends that when they directed a show, it put them at so much more ease as an actor. It made them so much more comfortable auditioning.
Oh, really?
It made them feel because they've been on the other side of the desk and they were like,
Right.
oh, it's because there were so many times where they thought, oh, I did this audition badly or did that badly, and they were like, oh, it has nothing to do with me, and it made them so much more confident. And so
see, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure there's benefits that I'm not aware of, but I know for a fact that it's just made me a more patient person.
That's awesome.
Is there
And
any
that
way
is-
you've had to be particularly patient? Like anyone who really challenged, you don't have to say names, obviously, but anyone who like really challenged your patience?
Or
Other
you
than
could say
Luke-
names and I'll bleep it.
Well,
Other than Lucas, of course.
Well,
Yeah.
I've had a couple of students in the class, in the classroom that were, that did not behave,
Hmm.
Mm.
and so I had to restrain myself from saying, hey, "Get the fuck out,"
Ooh.
unless you can't do that.
You always shut down bullshit real fast.
Oh, I always did. I was always able to do that. I mean, right away in the first class, I always say, don't be an asshole. You can't start tearing down a comic because then they don't learn anything and they don't get better. And that's what we're all here for. We're all here to get better. We're here to be great comics. And the only way, you don't just say, hey, that joke sucked. What you say is, you know what? I have a great punchline that you might want to use and add or whatever. Just say it in a nice way. You don't tell someone they suck. I never do that.
Yeah.
Because they don't. Nobody sucks. Maybe
Yeah.
they could change things up a little bit to get a laugh.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen
Absolutely.
people even on open mics in like my first year or two who like maybe weren't as good at the beginning and then they just worked so hard that they got good. And it's like-
Exactly. Yeah, it
And
happens all the time. I remember
it's
this
also-
one student,
Oh yeah.
but the guy, I always talk about the guy with the club foot. It's like, holy shit. You see someone like that and it's like, okay, good for you. He drags his big old leg up there and he does this, and he's still doing it. He gets in touch with me sometimes. It's like, God, love you.
It's also one of my favorite things, especially in quarantine. I've met like some other comedians in like backyard open mics and stuff. And there are a couple named Sasha and David that I've watched them when I first saw them, I was like, they're okay. And I've watched them get better. And it's so exciting to watch because now I'm so excited to see like the next level of like niceness. I'm so excited to see them now. It's so fun to watch.
That's great. And they actually got better doing outdoor shows. That's really hard.
Oh yeah. Well, it's also a wonderful thing because like it's become like a little more intimate in a nice way, because like with regular open mics, sort of anyone can turn up because it's all public and anyone can sign up. Whereas now it's just a tiny bit more reduced, so we can just get rid of, because there are some crazies that turn up just because they think it's a microphone, I can say whatever I want. And so so you can filter out a little bit of that. And so it's slightly a nicer pool of people.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and you'd have to be a real dick to go to an outdoor open mic in the middle of a pandemic when we're all like, you know, strapped for social interaction and be like, that joke's bad. Like, you're gonna laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, God, what kind of person?
Special kind of dick.
Yeah, it takes a special dick.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Speaking of special dicks,
a
couple of listeners who write in, and they have like weird stories or weird phobias, neuroses, sometimes fetishes that they want us to like comment on, and so we would love you to comment on them as well. Okay, so here's one. I'm Mormon, kinda, but all the guys in the small town I live in are purely and strictly Mormon. This is fine because it means high standards for themselves, but it also means since I'm a senior, the entirety of the guys in my town are leaving on missions for 2 years, where they will most likely leave the country to teach the gospel with no real access to technology, right? But guys are using that as a cop-out, and I've now been kissed and dissed, and I don't like that. I made out with a guy in my car on New Year's, and now I'm basically in love with him, but he won't talk to me because he's leaving in 3 months. But of course, I only hear this from my best friend, whom I would be dating if my mom didn't hate him. I really want to like initiate a conversation about our situation, but I'm scared of feelings and boys. And also, I really want to kiss him again because I have teenage feelings. Or I could just kiss my best friend. I'm in a weird situation. Help.
This is wordy.
Very wordy. This person needs to see you.
Yeah, they need to come to your class.
Right now, that is not an opening joke.
No.
That's a closer. Okay. You know what? I gotta be honest. I lost track of what the.
I did too. I
think from what I gathered, this person lives in a town that sounds like a, you know, crazy like comic book town where everyone is Mormon. And so,
Mormon, that was the beginning. Right.
Yes.
I thought that was,
Mormon town.
That was gonna have something to do with something.
Yeah, and she made out with a dude who's about to leave on his mission, and he's being
I thought it was 2 guys.
So here's what I
doubt it.
Here's what I think's happening.
I hope it's 2 guys, but I doubt it's 2 guys.
Yeah, this woman's having a threesome with these Mormons. And they're all leaving.
Now that's a bit.
Yeah.
That's not an opener.
They live in this town that's all Mormons. So whenever you're like initiating a relationship and you're in high school with a boy, the boys for whatever reason all leave to go on like Mormon missions in other places, and they're using that as an excuse to ghost. And then simultaneously, it sounds like she's also in love with her male best friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think
that was very subtle. The male best friend, she was like also wanted to make out with him.
I feel like that's kind of one of those things where like you bury the lead, but that's what you really want to talk about. It's like, haha, here's this crazy story about how I'm all in this town full of Mormons. I'm in love with my best friend.
Yeah. I actually heard that therapists actually say that that's a common tactic for their clients, that they don't even know that's what they want to talk about, but right as they're leaving a session, they'll be like, by the way, my father did this and so to me when I was a kid. But they really do want to talk, but they're afraid to be active with that and say that so openly. Right. So I agree with you, Gabby.
Yeah. I agree.
It's the dude, fuck your best friend, or just make out. But
go for it.
Exactly.
Okay, someone said, here's another one. Oh my God. Okay, this is really wordy. Okay.
Oh God.
My half brothers ex-girlfriend and
my mother's son.
That's an old joke. That's great. That's great.
I already can't keep up with this. So it's the son of it. They're half siblings and they share a father.
Okay.
This person's ex-girlfriend, and they have a child together, is a cousin of my mother's boyfriend.
I hate this.
Yeah, they live in the South.
Yeah, they're in Alabama. All right.
Alabama, exactly.
My mom is only slightly older than my brother. Hope you have fun with this, and it's not a giant brain knot. It is. And I didn't have fun with it. You're all inbreeding. You should go get checked out.
Well, I just a small thing is that my grandfather, so he met my grandmother, they had 4 kids, one of them being my mom, and then my granddad married again and had 4 more kids like 20 years later. And so the youngest of that set of kids, who's technically my aunt, she's only like 5 or 6 years older than me. And so I definitely understand that idea of like blended generations. So I think that might be what this listener is writing about, that like the brothers somewhere like half brothers at the same age as mom, or am I lost? Did I get this wrong?
I
just wrong.
I think that maybe that like one child policy they had in China wasn't so bad. Like
I think you're right.
Everyone should just to be easy, one child. All you need.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That's another thing, is that a lot of our listeners often are adults, but a lot of them are like quite young and around like high school age.
Really?
And so I think it's also just a time where they're being very wordy because they're trying to maybe sound mature,
they don't want to
be extra clear. And so they dump
I
extra
get
words when it's
Someone said this one's not wordy. It's a would you rather. Would you rather have your only source of entertainment? So I assume this means like you can't watch anything else but either of these two things, be porn or bad low budget remakes of popular films.
Bad low budget remakes of popular films.
I agree. I think porn does not have enough of a good storyline.
Yeah,
no.
Story.
It's also
story, damn it.
I like to watch movies with people, and I don't always like to have erections when I do. Sometimes, but not all the time.
Me too.
I need balance.
I agree.
That was pretty good. Would you rather?
That's a good one. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Lucas, you got one pulled up?
Oh yeah. Hold on. Okay, here we are. This one is very, very wordy, but okay. I started an internship, and day one, my boss basically was like, I'm not responsible for anything you see on the company drive. And then a couple days later, I was scanning some family pictures for my boss and adding them to a file labeled boss's names, private things. And long story short, I ended up finding a file that was just his porn stash, pictures, videos, and everything. And now I'm uncomfy and don't really know what to do. What I want is can I tell what I would I would put like some files in there, like some video files that you make up as like an FBI agent saying, we're tracking everything you're doing. Or pretend you're from the future, being like, this is you from the future. Hide your stash. Or something. I would try to mess with them and see if like their behavior changes, or like give your assistant a raise or else.
Or why don't you just keep your own copies? It's like, right? Can you like just file it in your own?
You just need some IT support at that point.
And then blackmail him.
Be like, I know everything about you. I went through your private stash. Maybe your wife would like to see this.
I don't know if you know about this, but there is a technique that hackers use to get a ransom, is that they'll infiltrate your computer and they'll replace every single file you have, every photo, every video, every document, everything with a picture of the same squid. And what they'll do is they'll say, okay, for like $1,000, if you want all of your files back and to replace the squids, pay me. And so I think you could do a similar thing.
Yeah.
Like come with a briefcase with $500 to the park at this time, leave it on this bench, and I'll give you a thumb drive with all your porn.
All your porn. Okay, tell them that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so blackmail your boss. That also reminds me, I used to work in an office where the office manager would sometimes like prank one of the other PAs who was an idiot and be like, hey, listen, don't forget to turn in your computer this weekend. We're going to search everyone's search history.
Really?
Whoa.
The guy was like, wait, what? And he's just like, I'm just fucking with you. This guy would go white as a sheet. So mean. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Okay, let's do one more.
Yeah, one more.
Here, I'll pull it up. Which one did I send you? Somebody said, all right, this is an essay. Where do I begin? I may or may not.
Linda, feel free to tap out if you're like, this is too much. I can't do it.
No, I don't do that. I said yes, and I'm here. I'm here for you.
Hell yeah. I may or may not be desperately in love with my best friend. Do you think that this is the same person who wrote the other one?
Yeah.
Said friend also sadly wants to sleep with my sister. For context, I am male, my best friend is male, and my sister is female. I met him 2 years ago.
Threesome.
Hell yeah. And I fell for him instantly. I knew he was straight and actively avoided any behavior that would make him uncomfortable or feel like I was making a move on him. He knows I'm gay. However, pre-lockdown, we would go out to the pubs every weekend or so. We would get drunk and go home. We were living together after 3 months of knowing each other because I got kicked out. Oof. He'd drink more, and I usually try and sober up or just not drink more. However, here is where it gets interesting. Almost every time he gets this drunk, it's like he unlocks a slightly less heterosexual side of himself. He starts pursuing me, and I do genuinely try and turn him down, but he always really wants to have sex with me. He admits he has a deep, repressed love for me, and he'll fall asleep in my arms. I get up, clean up, and sleep on the sofa instead. He won't remember anything in the morning, or at least I don't think he does. During the day, if my sister is visiting, he'll make comments about her, despite her having a fiance. He's respectful. Doesn't.
Can I just say, this is well written.
Yeah.
This actually is really well written.
This is really well written. He's respectful, but definitely makes it clear that he'd sleep with her were it not for the fact that he doesn't want to hurt my feelings and obviously doesn't want her cheating on her fiance. We've had deep discussions before about sexuality and the fluidity of it, but I don't know how to bring up the fact that whenever he lets down his walls and is too drunk to censor what he feels, he wants to sleep with me and claims he loves me to the ends of the earth. I want to be with him so desperately. I even want to marry him one day. I know it's way too soon, but I feel like we're already together. He knows I love him, and when he's sober, he just said, if I were gay, I'd love you too. But when he's drunk, he says, I love you more. I don't know why I never tell you. I can't take this much longer, and I'm constantly confused.
So wait a minute. When he's drunk, he's gay?
Yeah.
Yes, this guy is gay when he's drunk.
But when he's sober, he forgets or forgets.
Right.
He's kind of like the Hulk, but of gay and alcohol, basically.
The gay Hulk.
The gay Hulk. Exactly.
Wow.
Tell him you're gay.
Yeah. Definitely.
And you know what? Embrace it. Live your life.
Exactly.
Don't wait until you're too old to have fun.
And it seems like deep down the feeling is mutual. So I think there's a lot of possibility, but I'd say this guy needs a lot of therapy. This guy definitely needs to see a therapist.
You're right. And I'm not a therapist, so I shouldn't be so bold over here. But
once this dude sees some therapy, gets some therapy, you guys totally should pursue something. Definitely.
I agree. Very good, Lucas. That's true. And he'll be given some tools to deal with being gay. If he feels that it's, not accepted or whatever, people get funny about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he was raised in a Catholic house or something.
Yeah. It is funny how he's like, oh, I forgot I slept with you. I'm like, every time? I don't know.
Every time?
I mean, the one time, sure, you can get drunk and forget you had sex. Every single time. I'm like, I don't think.
There's another thing is that this guy says that, the writer says that this dude falls asleep in his arms. So does he wake up and just goes, how did I get here? Like,
who is this?
I keep getting in your arms, so who's doing this to me? Like,
Oh my God.
Who are
did
you?
pull me out of my bed and bring me into your embrace? How the
However, do you have a sister?
Yeah, right.
If you had a sister, I might remember who you were.
Oh my God.
Are these questions coming in from someone who watched this whole podcast?
I think they're listeners, and some of them follow Lucas on social media. Some of them follow me on social media.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Honestly, fewer of them follow me on social media than follow Lucas.
Is there any more questions?
I think that's it.
That's
at
it?
least for now. Yeah, you were.
Those were good.
Yeah,
that was
you were
fun.
awesome.
Oh, it was great. Thanks,
Yeah.
kids.
This was so much fun. Wait, Linda, we want to ask you one more thing before we ask all our guests this.
Yes.
Before you head out, we do something about called Self-Perception Corner, and we ask all our guests how they think they're perceived by others. So how you think others see you, and then we will say how we actually perceive you, and we'll see if it lines up.
Okay. I think people see me as funny and very nice and accepting and liberal and
Yeah.
generous. Oh, okay.
Oh, ditto. Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
it. I mean, there must be a bad thing, but I'm trying to think if there's a bad thing.
I can't think of anything.
Well,
No.
you know, no, I really try to live a good life every day and treat everybody the way I would like to be treated. And I think that,
Absolutely.
I think everybody is, like, everyone is equal, and I don't care if you're gay. I don't care what you are, black, white, it doesn't, it really does not matter to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I even remember before I took your class, I spoke to you on the phone very briefly just to ask like what the class was like. And even then I could tell you were so excited by the idea of like a new student. You were very welcoming, and you're like, yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want to know. I hope to see you in class. And it was so
good.
nice. And then I remember when I was walking off the stage after our graduation show, and that you like sort of collected me, because I was just like I was like, I finally did it. I finally performed stand-up. I've been dreaming about this ever since I was 13. And you were like, that was so good. That was the best you've ever done. Well done. And you gave me a hug, and it was exactly what I needed.
Good. And let me just make clear to you, I don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I meant that.
It meant a lot. It really, really meant a lot.
Good.
And
that's something I always perceived from you, Linda. In addition to everything you said, like, I feel like you're very honest, you're blunt. I feel a lot of kinship with you because, like, you're a real New Yorker. Like, I just see that in you, like
from Jersey.
A Jersey New Yorker, but
that's right. That's right. But I just embrace New York, and it embraces me.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, it does. Yeah, but the one quality I really like see most in you is like you're this great combination of like you're blunt, but you're not mean. So many people
that's
the opportunity to be blunt as like, oh, let's tell it like it is, and like say all these mean things, but you are blunt in such a way where it's like, I know you're shooting me straight when you say something nice, and that means the world.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's great. Thank you, because that's always what I strive for, is honest but not mean, and constructive. I want you to learn. I want you to be better. Yeah. And the only way to do that is to not be an asshole. If I'm an asshole to you, you're not going to get better. And I want everybody to be good. All my students, of course.
If you were an asshole to me, I would cry because you would mean it. If you were an asshole to me, I'd be like, I really should just go kill myself because I did something wrong.
I can't be an asshole. I can't do it.
No, you're
I would
too
just
sweet.
sink into my beanbag chair and never come out, just enclose myself.
Poor thing.
Oh,
okay.
I wish you guys so much luck with this. Anytime you want me involved, I'll do it. Ask me things.
Oh, thank you so much.
The best. All right. Thank you so much, Linda.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And like I said, when I start back up on Monday nights, you got to get in touch with me.
Oh, 100%.
But
I got you.
Yeah, we're going to start booking Monday nights. Yeah.
I can't wait to see you back on stage.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. You're going to kill
I
it.
can't wait to see you guys. It was so great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for
Thanks
coming
for being on.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Stay well. Bye-bye. Now what do I do?
You can hit log up. We're gonna record an intro, but you can just exit out of the Zoom.
Yeah, it should be a red
Oh,
leave
exit.
button. Yeah.
Oh,
You got it.
leave.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Bye-bye.
Bye.